Ever get this feeling like there's just got to be some kind of like secret code to the universe? Like beneath all the chaos, there's this hidden structure.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, get this. Today's deep dive. We're tackling a field that claims it's cracked that code.
Yeah.
Evolutionary culturology. EvCult for short. And get this.
Okay.
It's actually based on an idea that might sound kind of familiar.
Intriguing. Let's hear it.
All right, so remember that book, Consilience, by E.O. Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Wilson, he was all about the unity of knowledge, right? Trying to find that common thread between everything. Ambitious.
Exactly. Physics, psychology, art. Like, how do you even begin to unify all of that? It's a huge challenge.
It is. And honestly, for the longest time, Consilience, it felt more like, this nice idea than something achievable.
Right.
But here's where EvCult jumps in. They claim they've found the key. They call it the fractal Hollenparten.
Okay, gotta be honest. Fractal Hollenparten.
Yeah.
Sounds a little intimidating, right?
It's a mouthful for sure.
Can we break that down like plain English?
Absolutely. Okay, so picture this. You've got a single letter on a page.
Okay.
That letter, that's your Hollenparten, exists on its own, right?
Right.
But it also integrates upwards. It forms a word, right? Then a sentence, a paragraph, a chapter, a whole book.
Okay. I think I see where you're going with this. So each of those, the letter, the word, the book, they're all like Hollenpartens, building blocks.
You got it. And here's the fractal part. You know how with the fractal, you zoom in and it's the same pattern, just smaller and smaller?
Yeah.
EvCult says this Hollenparten structure, it repeats everywhere, across all areas of knowledge, at every level of complexity.
So it's not just letters and books. We're talking about everything.
Everything.
It's a bold claim.
It is bold. And what's even more interesting is these Hollenpartens, they're not just randomly scattered. EvCult says they follow 3 fundamental laws. These laws govern how they interact, how they create bigger systems.
3 laws that govern everything. Okay, now you got my attention. Let's hear about these laws.
All right, so these laws, they might sound kind of complex at first, but they actually make a lot of sense when you start seeing them in action.
Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
So law number 1, it's all about how smaller units, they combine to create these bigger things.
Okay.
We call this integrate upwards.
Integrate upwards. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Letters forming words, words into sentences. But what about something like, say, physics? How does integrate upwards play out in that world?
See, that's the beauty of it. It works everywhere. Think about atoms, right?
Okay.
Hollenpartens, too. They integrate upwards. You get molecules, bigger structures, planets, stars, the whole shebang.
Whoa, so it's like this integrate upwards thing. It's happening at every level, from the tiniest particles all the way up to, like, the vastness of space.
Exactly. And it's not just about physical stuff combining either. Think about ideas.
Okay.
One idea sparks another, new theories pop up, schools of thought, whole movements even.
Wow, yeah, it's like a whole new way to look at intellectual history. Okay, I'm ready. What's law number 2?
All right, so law number 2, this one's all about how units on the same level, how they interact. We call it compete and cooperate sideways.
Compete and cooperate sideways. I like the sound of that.
Right.
It's got a nice ring to it. So they can be rivals, but also like collaborators at the same time.
Exactly. It's this constant dance, Think about species in an ecosystem.
Okay.
They compete, right? For resources, sometimes it gets nasty. But they also depend on each other in all these complex ways.
Right. Yeah, like the classic bees and flowers example. Total win-win, even though they're totally different.
Exactly. And you can see the same principle playing out in human societies, too.
Oh, yeah.
Businesses in the same industry, they duke it out for customers, market share, all that. But then they might team up, lobby together, set industry standards. It's fascinating.
It's like this constant push and pull, competition and cooperation, driving innovation, change.
Yeah.
You're really making me rethink some things. Okay, what's the third law, the final piece of the puzzle?
All right, so the third law is all about how the bigger systems, they exert their influence on the smaller parts within them. Command and control downwards.
Command and control downwards. Okay. So like the big fish in the pond calling the shots.
Exactly. Think about it like...
Give me an example. Give me an example of this. Command and control in action.
Okay, your body, right? Your organs are made of cells, Hollenpartens, right? But your brain, the nervous system, it's calling the shots, making sure those organs are playing nice, keeping everything in check.
Right. Like a conductor leading an orchestra. Okay, so we've got our 3 laws, right? Integrate upwards, compete and cooperate sideways, command and control downwards. It's like, I don't know, a whole new way of looking at how everything's connected.
It's a big shift.
But it also kind of makes you wonder, like, how does Evcult go beyond just spotting these patterns?
Right.
What makes it this, like, meta science thing?
Okay, so you're right. It's one thing to point and say, hey, look, patterns. It's another thing entirely to build a system out of that. And that's where Evcult gets really interesting because it goes beyond just describing, right? It provides these tools, these standardized units and scales for measuring complexity across all areas of knowledge.
Okay, hold on. Units and scales. Now I'm picturing, like, rulers and tape measures, and I have a feeling that's not quite it, right?
No, you're right. It's not about measuring things physically. It's more like, imagine a universal language, right? For describing how complex things are. So Evcult gives us this specific set of units representing these fundamental building blocks of information, of organization. And it arranges them, these units, on this hierarchy of scales. So from the tiniest possible unit all the way up to the entire multiverse.
The entire multiverse. Okay, we're going big.
That's the thing about Evcult. It's got this huge scope, right? But it also zooms in on the smallest details. And this is where it really tackles that consilience thing we were talking about. Because by having these standardized units, these scales, suddenly we can compare things that seemed totally unrelated before.
So instead of each field having its own language, its own methods, we can use Evcult to find the common ground. See how the rules of physics, maybe they apply to economics, or how language evolves, kind of like ecosystems do.
Exactly. It's about building bridges, seeing the unity beneath all the differences, like having a Rosetta Stone for knowledge. You can translate between disciplines, uncover hidden connections.
That's incredible. It's like Evcult is the missing piece that Wilson was looking for in Consilience. But there's one last thing I'm still wrapping my head around. Those evolutionary algorithms you mentioned. What are those all about?
Ah, yes. So this is where the evolutionary part of evolutionary culturology really kicks in. Evcult recognizes that, well, the universe isn't static, right? Everything's changing, adapting, evolving, and it says these evolutionary processes, they're not just random. They're driven by these underlying algorithms operating on those fractal Holland patterns at every level.
So it's not just about how knowledge is structured, but how that structure changes over time.
Exactly. Think about biological evolution. You've got genes, they mutate. Sometimes those mutations, they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're neutral. And natural selection comes in, right? Favors the ones that help an organism survive, reproduce. Evcult suggests that similar processes are happening in all complex systems, not just biology.
So you can use these algorithms to understand how languages change, how tech evolves, how societies develop.
That's the idea. Of course, Evcult, it's still a young field, lots of research left to do, but the implications, huge, mind-blowing even.
Yeah, I started this deep dive, I'll admit, a little skeptical. But this Evcult framework, it's really something else. It's such an elegant way of looking at the world, so comprehensive.
It really makes you appreciate the elegance of it all, right? Like beneath all this complexity, there might just be this underlying simplicity. A few core principles governing everything, from the smallest particles to, well, everything.
It really makes you think, what other mysteries could we solve if we start looking at things through this new lens? Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive into Evcult.
It's been a pleasure exploring with you.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey into the wild world of Evcult. We hope it sparked your curiosity, maybe left you pondering the interconnectedness of it all. Until next time, keep exploring the universe within and the universe all around.